Welcome to my new YouTube series, Wine and Bible Stories. Tonight, we are enjoying a wine, a Chardonnay, Quick Fire 2010. Yeah, it's okay. It's has some pear. It's kind of bright, kind of sweet, dry. Anyway, Bible stories. Tonight we're going to talk about Queen Esther. Women in the Bible, I think, kind of get pushed aside a little bit from time to time. So I wanted to start with the women of the Bible and talk about their stories. It's like the religious vagina monologues. So, Queen Esther. The story starts out like this. King Ahasuerus something or another, he is throwing this big shindig, like all the big players are there, like he has like marble and gold, and like he has this whole big thing going on. He's like having a good time, like he's invited a bunch of people. And Queen Vashti at that time, she's having her own thing with the ladies. Like she's got her own thing going on with the ladies. And so the king's like, this is a fun time. I want to invite my queen, to this party. So he invites the queen, and then the queen's just like, nope, I don't want to go. So she doesn't show up, and he's like talking to his buddies about this. He's like, dudes, like, queen over here didn't come to my party. Like, that's gotta be bad. That's gotta be wrong somehow. Like, what should I do? And they're like, you need to get yourself a new queen. Like, that's not gonna work out. And then he's like, oh, well, she is nice. I do like her. But then they're all like getting in his head and like, no, you gotta kick her to the curb. Get yourself a new, like, young gal. Check out some chicks, right? So then what does he do? He decides to throw like this invite to all the ladies of the area to come hang out with him, basically. And among those people is Esther. Now, Esther is Jewish, and she is adopted. Mordecai, one of the dudes in the Bible there, adopted her. And so she goes to this party. Excuse me. I don't know about this wine. I wouldn't recommend it. But it's wine. So she goes to this party, and everybody likes her. She's like, big hit. People are like, yeah, I dig this chick. And then the king likes her and is like, all right, well, you're gonna be the new queen. But she didn't tell him that she was Jewish, for reasons that are probably in the books before that, which I haven't read. So, but that's important later in the story. So she becomes the new queen, and she's a great queen. She's like, she knows how to handle herself, this kind of thing, right? So as she is in the vicinity of the king, the palace, whatever you want to call it, whatever it's called, Mordecai finds out that there's two people in his council that are plotting to to kill him, the king. And he tells Esther, and Esther tells the king, and the king's like, whoa, no. And they confirm it, and then they hang them. So they die. And then, let's see what happens. Oh, and then Haman, this other like council member of the king, he puts on this thing, and he's like, okay, now everybody, you must bow to the king. And Mordecai's like, I'm not bowing to the king. Like, the king, my God is the king. I'm not bowing to this guy, right? So then, like, Haman is like mad. He's mad, and he's like, we can't have this. We can't have people disrespecting the king this way. Is that right? And he's like, we should make law. And so he goes to the king, and he's like, look, now this one guy, you know, didn't bow to you, and like there is this whole group of people, the Jewish people, and they're not following the laws of bowing to you, basically, right? So fine. So then he's like, instead of just punishing this one guy that refused to bow to you, we should just punish his whole posse. And we should write a decree up saying, look, Jewish people, you know, we're going to destroy you. And that's it. And the king is like, whatever, do whatever you want. I don't really care what you do. So then he goes ahead and does this thing, and then Mordecai is mortified. Yeah, he did. He goes into mourning over this. He goes back to his people. Like, he's just like, and the people are sad, and like, they're like, no, we're gonna be destroyed. This decrees come out, and the word gets back to Queen Esther, and still the king has no idea that she's also Jewish. And so she hears about this, and she's like, look, you guys, you know, just sit tight, fast 3 days, and pray, and we'll get through this. It'll be fine. I will fast and pray with you, and then we'll just, you know, I'll talk to the king. It's gonna be cool. So after 3 days, she talks to the king. She's like, listen, I have a request to make. I have a request. And the king is like, oh, what's your request? I'll give you half the kingdom if you want it. You know, it's cool. What do you want? And then Queen Esther is like, well, let me put together a banquet, and then you and Haman come hang out at the banquet, and then you know, then I'll talk about my request there, right? So she puts on this banquet, and it's beautiful. Everybody's there, and Mordecai is there, and then the king realizes, wait a second, Mordecai, dude, you are the one who found out about those 2 shady characters in my courts that were gonna kill me. We should honor you. And so they honored him, and so that was cool. And then the queen, like, later on is like, you know, I have a request to make. of you, my king. And the king's like, whatever, you know, half the kingdom is yours. I will, you know, what do you want to request? And so finally she's like, look, there is this decree out there, this law, that all the Jews are going to be destroyed, and I'm not really down with that, because they're my people, and I like them. So if we could just, you know, get rid of that law, that'd be great. And then the king's like, what? Who put this law in place to destroy you and your people? Who did this to you? Well, and the queen's like, that vile Haman did it. Yeah, called him out. So then he died, you know, because they killed him because he was a bastard trying to kill the Jews. And yeah, that's the story of Queen Esther. She, like, you know, got stuff done with elegance and grace, kind of like me. Cheers!